Good afternoon, and welcome back to Chill the Base podcast. I am Francine Snyderak, obviously still your host as we dive into week 2 of our new podcast. So today, just to give you guys a little debrief of what we're going to be talking about. Obviously, going to catch up on our weeks, see what we did, make sure that everyone had a good week, is feeling good, feeling happy, all that stuff. But later on, we're just going to dive into personal growth and self discovery. So strap up those suspenders and get ready to dive in to an emotional. Maybe not emotional, because obviously, I don't think I'll cry, but an emotional episode, just to kind of dig deep into who we really are, kind of how we grew um, over the past couple years, what we have learned, what we have fought our battles on, all that fun stuff. So yeah, kind of before we get started, I hope everyone had a good week. Last Friday, just a little update on my end. Me and my friends went to Linny's, which is in Toronto, and let me tell you, it was fan frickin' tastic. We sat at the bar, and it was like dinner and a show. And honestly, who doesn't love dinner and some entertainment? Because I know I do. Um, yeah, we sat at the bar. There was three of us. So the one thing that I don't really like about sitting at a bar is that you have to kind of turn your body to talk to your friends. And then I just feel kind of bad because then my back is to the person beside me, even though I don't know them. It's just like, I don't know. Get me at a table and I'll be fine. But it was a really cool experience. We did the kind of the chef's menu. So they brought us out everything. Um, and it was really cool. If you're in Toronto, I highly recommend going. It was a little bit more on the pricey side, but you know, good food, good entertainment, good company. Can't really go wrong. So the bartenders were making drinks right in front of us, and I was freaking mesmerized. It was so freaking cool. Um, One thing that I do love about bartenders is when they like shake the frickin' whatever it's called, mixer, and it's like the biceps that they must be forming on those things on their arms is just, you gotta have a lot of strength. And like my weak chicken arms can't, I don't think I'd be able to. Saturday we did have a wedding. It was a very beautiful venue, very beautiful time. We had a lot of fun. There was that ice storm in Toronto, if you are from here, that kind of was a damper. The weather was just freaking awful. And I guess like that's spring for you, but like I need summer. I need the sun. And honestly, preferably I need a beach. But yeah, and Wednesday we had that major blizzard. So, oh, fun fact about me, I slid into a stop sign like 3 years ago when I was driving in the snow, and ever since then, I freaking hate driving in the snow. So, like, can't do it. Well, I can do it, but like, get super paranoid, white knuckling the steering wheel, just hate it. So, I like really, if someone else can drive, like I prefer them to drive in the snow versus me. But like, don't get me wrong, I am a good driver and like love to. I do have a heavy foot, so. Um, but yeah, we had that blizzard on Wednesday, and then all of a sudden Thursday, it was like beautiful spring day, 20-degree weather. Um, Sun was shining. It was nice. It was nice to kind of have the weather that we want in the spring. But like spring, where you at? Come on, your girl's waiting for you actually, and summer too. Um, yeah, overall, it was a good week. It was a very busy week with work. I had some volunteer meetings. Um, and yeah, now we're just kind of TGIF. Am I right, my fellow listeners? Fans? Any fans? Sound off in the comments. Come on, let me know if you're a fan. Um, but yeah, that's really about it this week. I have a pretty chill weekend coming up. My brother-in-law goes to California for work on Sunday, so I'm going to be just spending some time at my sister's, helping her with the two little hurricanes known as my nieces. And let me tell you, they are just a treat. Like I said, I love going there, love spending time with them. So it should be kind of a fun week. Will be a busy week, but looking forward to it. Yeah, sound off in the comments. Let me know what you guys did. It's nice to always connect with some people on here just to see what they did, what they're up to, um, any cool new places for me that I might want to try. Yeah, just let me know. So today we're just, like I said, going to be talking about personal growth and self discovery. So I know kind of personal growth, those are two and self discovery are two kind of topics that mean something different to everybody, whether you are going through any stage of your life. I think there's always kind of something to learn and something that you can discover about yourself, and something that you can grow, and kind of be a better human, um, and just kind of figure it out as you go along. So, we're going to be touching on those two things. We're also going to be touching on navigating life in your 20s. I don't really want to focus just on in your 20s because I know each age group has their own set of struggles, whether that be high school and you're figuring out how to balance getting your assignments in on time versus managing your extracurriculars. You think it's the end of the world. Trust me, I've freaking been there. Whether it's the change of you in university, obviously I know a couple people who are older than me and are in their 30s, so whether that be navigating life in your 30s, 40s, whatever. um, we're also going to touch on childhood dreams versus the reality of being an adult and kind of what comes with that. And then, yeah, independence versus your relationships, how you kind of have that balance. If you're an introvert, if you're an extrovert, what that kind of means to you, also what it means to me. And then lastly, just social media and thoughts on the personal growth that come with that. So I know social media can kind of be I don't want to say triggering, but like a kind of hard thing to navigate for most people. I've definitely had my fair share of that, whether it be people, you see people on your social media traveling left, right, and center, and you're like, why can't I do that? You see people getting all the materialistic things, the unrealistic videos of friends, relationships, whatever you want to call it. It just can kind of take a toll on you. So just want to kind of dive into that and see how we're all feeling there. But yeah, without further ado, let's get rolling here. So self discovery probably to me means touching on the values, your passions, strengths, weaknesses, your purpose in life, and kind of what really all comes with all of those things that I've just mentioned. So, values to me, values, I value myself on being a good person, being a kind person. Um, I care deeply for all of those people, everybody in my life. So I want to make them feel their best, obviously, while trying to maintain me feeling my best as well. Um, I think a really big and probably the most important value for me is family and loyalty, um, because we only get one family, whether that be the friends that are now family, chosen family, birth family, whatever you want to call it. We all have those relationships to us that do feel like family. And I think it's nice that we can all call someone in our life family, whether that be a friend you met in university or a friend you met in high school or your actual family. It's just something to me that's always been very important. I do value those relationships very, very, very close to my heart. And like I said, I do kind of pride myself on being a good and kind person. So those relationships obviously will be a two-way street, but in my life, I focus on just making sure that I am doing the best that I can with everybody in my life, making them feel special, making them feel wanted. Um, I also just think another important value for me is just being down to earth, whether that be however you really want to take that. To me, it just means being, again, a good person. If you're ahead in life, good for you. If you're behind, good for you. It's not really a race. Um, my sister's friend just said to me, we're all in our own lane, in our own race. So try not to compare yourself to others as hard as it may be. And if you are ahead and somebody in your life is struggling, just be down to earth, help them out. It's not, we're all going to get there eventually. It's not that big of a deal. We're all, again, in our own race, just fighting against ourselves. So there's nothing that is worse than seeing someone who is not down to earth and is kind of cocky about their success, or um, to play devil's advocate, on the other hand, saying, woe is me, like I'm not doing well. it's just all kind of about how you perceive life, and just kind of focusing on the day to day, how you can get better, how you can kind of push yourself to be who you want to be. So, yeah, kind of relationships, family, friends, loyalty, being a good person. Those are really what all I kind of consider my main values in life. It's fun. I mean, it is hard sometimes because I do focus a lot on other people versus myself. But it's just kind of a balancing act, and I don't obviously it's who I am, so I really enjoy that. Passions, a lot of the things that I do obviously I love doing because or else I wouldn't be doing them. Like that's silly, Francine. Come on. But a big thing in self discovery is passions and what you love doing. So I always said to myself that passions can be a feeling versus an activity or something that you do to de stress. Because I know if I compliment my mom that she's beautiful today and every day, or if I compliment my sister that she's doing an amazing job as a mom, the feeling that I get from that, making them happy, is something that I do want to continue to do more. So I encourage you guys, my fellow listeners, friends, family, again, fans, um, if you want to say something obviously nice, do it. It'll probably make their day, their week, or even their whole month. So you never really know what someone's going through. So just kind of be a good person. Last week, I don't know if you guys were watching on YouTube. I was wearing my "It Takes $0 to Be a Nice Person" sweater from Mayfair. And that's really like my motto in life because I freaking hate confrontation. I hate fights. I hate all that bullshit. Not for me. I go with the flow. I'm easy, whatever. Um, but yeah, that's kind of my motto in life, and that's kind of really my like life passion. I care very deeply, like I said, for the people around me. So I do just want to have focus on them, but also focusing on me because, like I said, it does make me feel good as a person. So, um, yeah, but kind of touching on passions that include activities. So I did used to dance when I was probably 4 or 5, up until grade 12. So when I was 18, loved it. Absolutely loved everything about it. I loved the teamwork aspect. I love going into the studio and dancing with my best friends. I formed really great relationships there, and I think it kind of shaped me into who I am today. I'm still best friends with majority of the people that I danced with, and it was a really great experience. It was, like I said, shaped me to who I am. Kind of got me into my love of sports. And yes, dance is a sport for all of you people who do not think it is. You try doing a 2.5 minute dance on stage with costumes, with makeup, stage lights shining in your face. It's fantastic. It's definitely a sport. Um, but kind of more recently, my passions kind of included just, I guess, being nice to people. I do really enjoy pickleball. That's kind of my most recent, I wouldn't really say passion, I guess it's kind of a hobby. um but again, passions always don't need to be activities, they can be feelings. So the feelings that you get from anything here, I encourage you to kind of look at those as your passions as well. Touching on kind of strengths that self-discovery obviously kind of pushes us to think about, I am a very optimistic person, positive thinker, always just trying to keep it positive, keep it light, keep it airy. I think that kind of has to do with me being the third born, of my two older siblings. I always just was the one to kind of, oh, it's okay, it'll all work out. And I really do take that into my day to day life right now, whether that be friends, relationships, jobs, anything like that. I do always think positive. I try not to let any kind of nagging thoughts and this big old brain up here to keep me from thinking those things because I do pride myself on that. And I've kind of people have always told me that I'm always the most positive person in their life. So it's a nice thing to hear, but it's also something that I do put a lot of pressure on myself sometimes just because I don't want anyone around me to think negatively when I'm trying to think positively, if that makes sense. Another strength I would say is probably I am passionate. So whatever I do, whatever relationship I step into, I always give 110%, whether that be learning a new job, learning a new skill, or whatever. I do my best. I'm very passionate about what I am learning, or what I am feeling, or what I'm trying to learn. I think it's a good kind of strength to have, just because it's gotten me a lot of opportunities. I've learned a lot of new things. Yeah, I think it's something that we should all kind of try and find within ourselves, is that passion, is whatever you're doing, kind of focus on the passionate side of it and just make sure you're all in and just can be giving 110%, because like we don't really deserve anything less than that. So yeah, sound off in the comments. Let me know what your strengths are. It's fun to kind of learn all these things about other people. Weaknesses, bum bum bum. One weakness that I am trying to stop. Actually, let's give two. Overthinking is one of my weaknesses. Again, in any aspect of life, and then being scared to take the leap. So I talked about this earlier, and we'll get into it a little bit later too. But I absolutely hate change. It's something that I've always hated since I was little. I remember when we were moving houses, and I had to go. I went to Florida while my parents and siblings moved because I just couldn't handle the change. um, but it's something that I am working on, and as I grow and kind of discover more about myself, change has become a little bit easier. I don't want to say it's the easiest thing, because it never really is. But it's something, I don't know, changes, it has kind of, as I again discovered more a little bit about myself, change is always nice too, because you're opening a door to something new. Um, and whether that may be hard for you guys to figure out, or you are scared, it's something that is needed. Like, we can't stay the same forever. We all grow up, we all have fun. It's just, yeah, it's a way of life. So definitely those two things. I guess third is being hating change. The overthinking is just something that I am working on. Again, it kind of goes back to me being a positive person. I know the overthinking thoughts are just the nagging thoughts in my head of me being afraid to take the leap, or me being afraid. Um, but I found probably within the last 2 years that they have gotten better. Um, and yeah, just kind of something that we can all work on. I know everybody probably overthinks one time or another in their life, so it's not anything that we can be scared about, or anything that we should feel ashamed about. It's just kind of what happens as we grow up, and as we go through change, and as we get scared to try new things and all that stuff. So um, lastly, kind of with the self discovery topic, is our purpose in life. Like, I know that I was put on this earth to help people. As cliche as it sounds, I just freaking love it. I love making people feel good. Excuse me. I am a people pleaser, to a certain extent. Oh, and also being a mom, like, I think I'd be a really great mom. So, like, yeah, go me. Um, yeah, I just think I was put here to help other people feel their best about themselves, all while making me feel good about myself too. So everything that comes with self-discovery, we're all working through it. I don't think there's really a finite line where we can say, oh, I've fully self-discovered, I fully have discovered who I am. We're always changing, we're always growing. I think it's nice to sometimes remember that, just because, again, everything in life, nothing is promised. Tomorrow is not promised. So I just think while we go through life, it's always nice to kind of remember who we are, what we value, what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are, and how we can kind of learn and evolve and grow to be the people who we just really want to be, and can kind of, we can just do our best at that. I mean, there's no harm in trying. And I think we all have our own personal battles that we're going through. But if we just focus on who we are as people, we'll get through that and get to the invisible finish line one way or another. Um, yeah, it's kind of a touchy subject, but I think it's nice to talk about. And I think, like I said, we all have something that we're struggling with. So if you want to focus maybe on your passions a little bit more, and you want to focus on your strengths and what you can accomplish in your life, that's great. But just kind of remember to give yourself some grace, and give your weaknesses those grace as well, just because we're all learning. We're all It's our first time going through life all together. So um kind of just going to dive right in now to personal growth. So personal growth to me, probably about self-awareness. If you're being an idiot and you don't know it, frickin' learn. Or if you're being cocky and you don't know it, take a step back, realize what you're doing, and frickin' learn. It's a learning game. Self awareness. I think I'm pretty self aware personally. Obviously, not 100% because sometimes I do things that are like pretty psycho, and I'm like, probably shouldn't have done that, you know? I guess that's me being aware, but like in the present, I'm not aware. I kind of come to the realization after the fact, but I'm getting there, and it's a tough go, but we're doing it. So emotional intelligence, you can't really get anywhere in life if you don't really know how to deal with your own emotions, if you don't really know how to deal with your own pressure, if you don't know how to deal with the pressure that people are putting on you. Um, so I think emotional intelligence is probably a huge one in personal growth that we all need to be aware of. Um, I know I obviously have some stuff to work on with my emotional intelligence because, like I said, I am a people pleaser. And for the people pleasers out there, you'll definitely kind of resonate with this. But you always give so much and then you kind of forget to take a step back and focus on yourself as well. So it kind of drains you. Again, I wouldn't change it because that's who I am. But sometimes I think we all just need to remember to take a step back, give some time to ourselves, focus on being a good person for ourselves, and what we actually want to do versus making other people happy. So, um, kind of touched on this too is the resilience and how we adapt to change. Like I said, I am working on it, and I'm curious to know if you guys hate change as much as I do, or if you're open to it. And if you're open to it, how have you gotten to a place where you can be open to it? I'm starting. Actually, I've been in that place where I am open to change, just because there's been a lot of change in my life recently. Um, but yeah, let me know how you guys kind of adapt to change, what you kind of do to make it easier on yourself, or if you can't. Yeah, I think also too, nostalgia, being a nostalgic person really makes change hard. I know I am so nostalgic. I listen to songs and I'm like, wow, take me back. Or coming back from a vacation like 2 weeks later, I'm like, holy moly, like take me back. It's such a great time. The feeling in that moment was just unbelievable. Or like my brother's wedding last year, like the feeling that we had on that whole weekend was just so amazing. And I find myself like wanting to go back. Obviously, I know we can't, but I think nostalgia and change are like one and one. Yeah, it's just it's I want to kind of learn to stop being so nostalgic, but also again, it makes me who I am, and I'm not really sad about it because I know the feeling that we had in the moment of whatever I'm feeling nostalgic about, it was a really good feeling, and everybody that I was with kind of felt the same way. So it's nice to kind of reflect on the memories that we've made. Honestly, side note, I wish that I could have like a video of my whole life. Like I always have wanted a reality TV show just because like just to look back on my own life and like the laughs and the good memories that I've had. Obviously the bad memories are going to be there too, but like we don't really need to talk about those. But I think it would be so fun to just have a reality TV show of like me just with my whole life. Like how awesome. God. If anyone's listening from a TV show, like get me my own reality show. Or like take the memories from my brain and put them into a reality show. Whatever. Anyway, um and then last thing with personal growth I think is the mindset shift. How we kind of limit our intruding thoughts to that are holding us back to kind of stop being there. Or how we kind of push through those limiting thoughts. I know personally with myself when I have a limiting thought, or I'm afraid to start, which is one of my weaknesses, or I'm afraid that other people will judge. I always just got to remember, like, again, it's all of our first time going through life. Um, and like, really, who gives a fuck what people think? Because, like, at least I know I've tried. And at least I know that me doing something for me it's going to make me happy and I won't regret anything. It's like this podcast, for example. Like I told you guys, I've been toying with the idea for about a year. And then one time I was talking to my cousin's husband and I was just like, you know what? He's like, you know what? You just got to start. And I'm like, it just made me realize that it doesn't matter who's listening, although I hope a lot of people are, but it doesn't matter who's listening or who's going to judge. At least I know in my own self that I did it. I can feel accomplished that I have tried something new. And yeah, it's all really about ourselves, right? Um so yeah, that's personal growth. I think again, there is no finish line. I think because we're always growing, life is always changing. Um I think these two kind of subjects came really into my head during COVID, which is 5 years ago. Can you guys believe that? It's insane. Um, it's just something because COVID, obviously, we couldn't do anything. So there was really nothing to do but think. And although, like my personal experience with COVID, it was a fun time, but it got me thinking of who I want to be, what I want to achieve, how I can be the best person that I can be, all while still focusing on others because that's just who I am. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about personal growth and self-discovery and what it means to you. I'm curious to know if these kind of subcategories in each of these are some things that you touch on when you're thinking about your personal growth and your self-discovery, or if you guys have something more, or if you don't think anything kind of fits into these categories. But moving on to navigating life in my 20s, I'm 27 and I can't believe I turned 28 this year, but I can't believe I turned 30 in 3 years. Um like it's kind of like a pivotal moment, not to sound cliche, but like 30s, that's pretty big. Um I think with my 20s, again, part of my 20s got kind of ruined, air quote, ruined because of COVID. But there's always some the good, bad, and the ugly, and all those things that can we can talk about. We'll probably discuss that a little bit later. Um, but navigating my 20s and in my early 20s, I wanted to do so much. I wanted to travel, but then again, COVID kind of kiboshed that for me. Right after university, I did get a job and I thought it was going to be my career. I made a switch. I just think going through our 20s is such a pivotal moment in our lives because the world is our oyster, really. Like we can try so many new things. We can do all of the adventures that we want to do. It's kind of the time that we focus on ourselves, whether that be career changing, new relationships, new friends, new whatever. It's just a really pivotal moment because we've kind of already discovered, in a way, who we are. Again, not fully who we are, but it's just, I think there's also a lot of pressure in our 20s to have it all figured out. And again, I know like I said, we don't obviously have it all figured out just yet. Um, but there's that pressure of being, oh, I'm 27, I need to have it figured out. Oh, I'm 24, I need to have a job. There's so many things that we can get into, but I think kind of the expectation of being in your 20s is that you do all need to have it all figured out. And the people that I've spoken with about these conversations, when you're on the floor at 1 a.m. having these deep conversations, is that no one has it figured out in their 20s. We're all just faking until we make it. Um, that's why I'm kind of looking forward to my 30s and just kind of being who I am, focusing on what I want, and just kind of doing it for me. I think because I'm such a people pleaser and I try so hard to please everybody else, I sometimes lose sight of what I actually want. And again, the changes in the past year I was doing for me. Um, it's just something that we can all take a step back and realize that we do need to do it for ourselves, or else we'll never have it figured out. And that kind of touches on my next subject, was childhood dreams versus adult reality, or adults, however you want to say it. Um, I don't know about you guys, but like I think most people when they were like 10 years old wanted to be a marine biologist. Um, Fast forward to high school, math wasn't my strong suit. I had to actually take a night class with my cousin to pass grade 11 math. It was fun. God, like if I could, I mean, I wouldn't want to fail again, but it was a really great time, night school. Um, no, I just think childhood dreams, everybody, when you're 4 years old, I know my niece, she wanted to be a cheerleader, she wanted to be a dancer. I think we all have those childhood dreams of what we want to do. And I think it's great if you actually pursue those dreams. But as we grow up, those dreams change and our reality changes. And I think currently my adult reality is that I want to be a successful individual, um, who is a good person, who is kind to others. And I think right now I am focusing on that. I also just want to do what's right for me. So I want to kind of step out of my comfort zone, which this is kind of letting you guys in about what's going on in my big old brain up here. Um, but yeah, your childhood dreams, if they're long gone, I don't think they're that far off. I think we all kind of can connect to our inner child and just realize like, oh, maybe I'm not a marine biologist, but maybe one of my passions do include swimming in the ocean or scuba diving or whatever you want to do. I think we can all connect, and realize that those childhood dreams we're actually living out in our adult reality. And it's a nice thing to think about if you really dive in and just really focus on what you dreamed of versus what your dreams are now. I think we can all find that connection. Um, yeah, I think lastly that I do want to touch about is with, I think it kind of fits into the personal growth and self discovery, is social media. Bum, bum, bum. Have a love hate with social media. I love it. I've always wanted to be a freaking influencer. Like, are you kidding me? I think I live a pretty cool life, and I'm very grateful for that. Um, but I just hate social media. Like, it's a fine line because I always compare myself to other people, and I always am just like I said earlier, trying to figure out, oh, why can't I travel to freaking Europe 4 times a week? Maybe not 4 times a week, whatever. You get what I'm saying. But you're always comparing yourself. You're always comparing to what you don't have to the other people that do have it, or um, how good of a body this one person has when you're on your fitness journey. It's a fine line. And I think with the personal growth that we've talked about, being self aware and having that emotional intelligence, that not everything we see on social media is real. For the most part, it's not. And I think speaking from experience, it's a tough thing to kind of balance, and it's a tough thing to actually realize. But once you get into that realization that it's not all real, and I don't want to say all fake because it's not. But once you realize that those people also have their personal struggles and they're also going through life for the first time, it's not that bad. We all live pretty great lives. We can't complain. We're all healthy, hopefully happy. Um, and it's just something that we no one else can tell you when you should stop focusing on social media. You just have to have that internal battle with yourself. But I think it's something that we all need to do, and we all need to just take a step back and realize that sure, somebody else has a great life, but we also have a great life too. So kind of being self-aware and having that emotional intelligence to kind of pull you out of that doom scroll or darkness that you're experiencing with social media, I think it's a really nice thing, that we can achieve within ourselves. Um, and yeah, that was kind of like a heavy subject, on a Friday. So I apologize, but I think it's all relevant. I think we all need to talk about, who we are, what we want to do, how we've kind of discovered ourselves. I guess kind of like a Cole's notes on today's episode is just be a good person, figure out what your values are, what your strengths, weaknesses are. We're all going through life at the same time. No one is ahead of us. You there's always people, I don't know, starting school when they're 40, or people done school when they're 24 or 21. No one, you can't compare your life to others because it's your own race that you're going for. You got to win, but it's the win against yourself that you really takes all the cake, because if you win against someone else, you're not really winning. You're just giving them bad juju and bad juju against yourself. So I think we can all be a little bit nicer. I think we can all kind of focus on doing what makes us happy. And if you're a people pleaser like me and you like to do what other people want, just take some time for yourself, focus on what makes you happy, and just kind of figure it out as you go along. I think we all can get some good information from today's episode. Not that I'm like some sort of doctor or anything, but I do think I have a pretty good understanding of who I am, the personal growth that I've experienced over the past couple of years. And just coming from a girl in her 20s who's figuring out life and figuring out the pressure that comes with being 27, um, take it from me. It's all fun and games. Life's not that serious. We get there when we get there, as long as we have a good head on our shoulders and are confident. Um, confident. That's another strength of mine. I'm a confident person. Let me tell you, I am good. Anyway, I don't want to keep you guys for so long, but yeah, be a good person, kind of focus on yourself, do what makes you happy. And you know what? We can all achieve our dreams if we just put our mind to it. Stop worrying about what other people think. And I think we're all doing a really great job. So yeah, TGIF. You guys all have a good weekend. We'll catch up soon. And I'm curious to know, sound off in the comments about anything that we've talked about, what it means to you. Private message me if you don't want anyone to see all that fun stuff. But yeah, thanks guys. Remember, chill the frickin' bass.